All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, January the 24th, 2022. We'd like to welcome all of you to our meeting this evening. And Ms. Evans, will you provide us with a roll call, please?
Mr. Harp?
Here.
Ms. Page?
Here.
Ms. Matlock? Mr. Davis?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Here.
Ms. Harp?
We do have a full council this evening, and our invocation and pledge will be led by Councilmember Jay Davis. If everyone will please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity that we have to come and serve tonight, and just ask that you be with us as we make the decisions for our city. Lord, just be with those that are protecting us and defending us both here and abroad. Lord, just be with the leaders that we have in our city, in our state, in our nation. Lord, I just ask you to continue to bless this city and just give us a great 2022. Amen.
Amen.
Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. I kind of apologize for my appearance this evening. I did bring a tie with me. I normally wear a tie, but I got ready to put my tie on and realized my top button on my shirt is missing this evening, so I'm kind of sporting the Kelly Mitchell look this evening. So anyway, he'll pay me back for that. So I just don't know when. So anyway, looking at our upcoming council meetings, our next meeting will be held on Valentine's Day, Monday, February the 14th, and also our second meeting in February will be on the 28th, and then same calendar days for our meetings in March 14th and March 28th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. In reference to Parks and Recreation events, on February the 3rd, we have youth Zumba classes will begin at the Southwest Center, and also on February the 5th, our co-ed basketball league will begin also at the Southwest Center. And the Southwest Center has expanded hours of operation. And those hours are Monday, 8 a.m. until 7 p.m., Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Additional Parks and Recreation information can be found on the city's website or by contacting the staff at 903-798-3978. At this time, we'll move along to our open forum, comments from the public. If there's anyone who would like to address the council this evening, you are welcome to do so. We do ask that you complete one of these yellow sheets that can be found on the wall rack on the wall. And if you are here this evening and you want to speak on behalf of one of our public hearing items, then I would respectfully ask that you keep your comments until we get to that particular public hearing item. We'll be more than happy to listen to your remarks during that public hearing topic. I do have one sheet that is filled out this evening, and when you come forward, if you will please stand at the podium to my right. And we have Susie Adkins, who is here this evening, and she would like to address the council in reference to medians on State Line Avenue. So, Ms. Adkins, if you'll please come to the microphone, and if you'll also state your name for the record, and then we'll begin our time, and you will have up to 5 minutes, ma'am. So we want to welcome you to our meeting this evening.
Thank you. I'll just apologize for my appearance because I left the house this morning and haven't been home since. Everything's been run, so
okay.
Apologies. Okay, I signed a petition that's requesting that we not put that median down State Line. I don't know that much about it, so I thought I would come to the meeting and find out more about it. I didn't see it on the list, so I'll just tell you that I signed a petition and I have a suggestion for the money as opposed to putting the median down the middle of State Line. I personally see no benefit of it, and the people that were pushing the survey, or I'm sorry, the
petition?
Yes, thank you. Don't seem to need it either. So I would like to suggest that if we have that kind of money to spend, that we fix the roads in Texarkana. There are many parking lots that need to be repaired. The potholes throughout the city could be fixed, and the street I live on could be adjusted. When they made it, I live on the corner of 93/Summerhill Road, and in front of me is 8th Street/MLK/67 West. They didn't make a nice seam, so all these trucks and cars, which are a lot more than used to be, are shaking my house to pieces. I've got cracks in my stucco, I've got cracks in my walls, I've got cracks in my ceiling, and last week I had to repair a 12-foot by 3-foot piece that just fell out of my ceiling altogether. When these big trucks go by and they hit the seam that is not smooth, my entire house shakes. Now, I think my house is the prettiest house on 8th Street. It's the biggest one. It's right on the corner where everybody can see it. I'm sure everybody knows where my house is. And I'd like to make a suggestion that we pave that area so that my house stops shaking and doesn't fall apart before I do. And I'm pretty old, so I could go before the house, but I don't want the house to go before me. So that's my thought for the day.
Okay, so you're at 8th and MLK, is that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well,
But it's on 93 going south, or turns into 59 going south, and of course 67. It used to be 7th Street, 8th Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. In which direction does your house face? Which roadway?
South.
Okay, faces
So
south?
it faces south, and so MLK 67 West goes right in front of me, and there's a big bump right there, so the trash truck, the cement trucks, all the big trucks just, and then on this side, it's 93, and again, there's not a smooth seam, and it shakes my house. So when they took 15 feet off of this side, 15 feet off this side, they brought the vibrations closer to my house. So I need help.
Okay, all right. Well, we can certainly
Thank you.
look at that. Okay, thank you for being here. Appreciate your time, ma'am. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council this evening? Okay, if not, we'll now move along to our presentation. We have David Baumgardner with LifeNet, who is here to provide the council with the annual report from LifeNet. LifeNet provides our emergency medical services here, our ambulance services for ambulance service for our citizens. And David, want to welcome you this evening and appreciate
Thank you.
your being here and everything you do with LifeNet, and we look forward to your report, sir.
Well, first of all, thank you for letting us come over and give a report this year. David talked to me about this, oh my gosh, maybe 8 or 9 months ago, and so we've been looking forward to coming and presenting a report. I also want to take the time to say thank you for your vote of confidence 2 weeks ago on amending our agreement. As we go through some of the notes of this report, you know, some of those things that you've allowed us to amend in that agreement are going to come in really helpful in the coming year. So we have a sea of numbers to go through. A little bit about us real quickly, just as a reminder to the group. We're a not-for-profit. We were formed through an agreement between the two hospitals, St. Michael's and Wadley. And so we have a 15-member board of directors that, as we've grown, we started out with 9, we now have 15. As we've grown a little bit, we have 4 who represent the Texas side, and we have 4 who represent the Arkansas side. And the 4 on this side are really, really super helpful. We have, and it just went right out of my head, and it'll come back to me though.
I have that same problem.
Oh, I tell you. I get my boards confused because I'm sitting here trying to think. I know who my 4 Texas board members are when I'm on the airport board, and I know the Arkansas, but for some reason it just completely went out my brain right there. We still have heavy involvement from the 2 hospitals here. We have both Louise Thornell and Glenn Bowles and Tom Gilbert and Robert McGinnis, a physician, on our board. They're mainly our Texas side people, and then we have 4 people from the Arkansas side, Dennis Young, Clay Roberts. We also have Carissa Barnes and Lester Smith that represent Bowie County and Texas as well. So anyway, that's us. So to go through the sea of numbers, are you gonna, do you want me to drive? We'll try to do this. I may not be able to. And here we go. I'm going to go to the summary page. And then what our goal for you guys, for the council, if it's all right, is to stop at some point and let you all have a good amount of time to ask questions. We had 5,300 ambulance requests last year. That's 911 calls. They're categorized into 3 types of calls: lights and sirens, emergencies, and then we have what we call non-emergencies. These are folks that don't require lights and sirens, but they require an immediate response. Our 911, priority 1, priority 2, the most serious calls, our compliance was 83% this year. It's been that way probably since the pandemic started. We've had a difficult time maintaining our standard of 90%, which is as a part of our agreement with the city. It's been very difficult. First, we got quite a bit busier of the resources, and then what's going on with the hospitals, we're having issues with staff vacancies. And then what's going on at the hospitals directly affects us, and you saw that in the work paper 2 weeks ago, a thing we affectionately call bed availability, where we take a patient to the ER and we have to wait 90 minutes, 2 hours in order to get the patient transferred over. And that's because the medical staffing issue is all the way through the spectrum, from first responders all the way up to the ICU nurses. So it has had a real effect on everyone. I'm not going to go through all of them, and I know we're going to hand over to Weston here in a minute. We're busy at 5 in the morning. We're not so busy at midnight. Every patient that we transport gets a survey, we have an independent patient survey company who sends surveys to every patient. We were really lucky in that all the fun we've had since March of 20, when the pandemic first started, we still have really high patient survey scores, over 94% approval rating. I think that's just, that's pretty good considering what's going on in healthcare for us today. September was our busiest month this year. A lot of that was the end of the ride of Delta, where August was just really crazy, and it went into September for us. We're a company that does a lot of PRs, and then we had a very good year doing one of the primary reasons that we're here, which is resuscitations of sudden cardiac arrest, where we ended up running 195, and we were able to resuscitate 17% of those. So that's the year in a recap. And is there something that I missed that maybe you want to cover real quick? He's my backup for any hard questions.
Hi, my name is Weston Davis. I'm the new area director for LifeNet, and responsible for the Texarkana and the surrounding areas. And so my long 2 months that I've been here, if I can help you all with any questions, you can let me know. Like David was talking about, we're really proud of our resuscitation rates. As y'all know, sudden cardiac arrest is one of those things that generally people don't have a good outcome when that happens outside of a hospital. And the national average is between 8 and 10% of people surviving to go home. And in 2020, system-wide, we were at 15% of our patients being able to go home. And then 17% is here in Texarkana. So that was pretty awesome, something that we're definitely proud of. And so along with that, talking about the response times and the cardiac arrest patients, one of the things we want to, as an organization, go towards the future is looking at matching the right resource to the right type of patient. And so when somebody calls that says they've fallen and they're not injured, that doesn't necessarily mean they need an ambulance in 2 or 3 minutes. However, when somebody calls and says, I'm having chest pain, I'm having a heart attack, I'm having a stroke, those are the people that need an ambulance immediately. And so our hope is that for the future, we are able to focus on our outcomes and focus on what the patients need And so maybe by those people that don't have a life-threatening emergency may be triaged to get an ambulance a little bit slower than those people that do have life-threatening emergencies, and we can use the resources a bit better. Sort of like the police do with, they don't respond lights and sirens to loose animals and check fraud and minor crimes where they might go lights and sirens to more serious crimes. And we're one of the things that we're really proud of is we have an agreement or a relationship with Texarkana College, and through that we have been able to offer a accelerated paramedic program where we've put our employees through that are already EMTs to get their paramedic, and we're also working with them to get people to be certified as emergency medical responders, which is the lowest level of person that can come and help you in an emergency. And we've partnered with most of the area fire departments and that don't have a requirement for their people to be EMTs to get that training and be able to increase the number of people in the Texarkana region that can respond when you have an emergency. And so through that and through our almost 200 employees that we have here in Texas, we're really proud that these partnerships with Texarkana College and the fire departments have been able to add a lot of jobs to the area, and we have more jobs open that we can add people to whenever we have the applicants. So we've been really excited that not only are we able to provide a service to the community, but we're also able to provide jobs for the people in the community. So we're hoping that as the labor market gets better and more people are out there looking for jobs, that we can help there as well as taking care of the medical needs. And so I think that was the big things. I think David covered most of the other things on there. In that report, there's some stuff in there about what types of calls we respond to, and some other things that we do in the community, like put on CPR classes and go to the schools and show the kids ambulances and whatnot, which hasn't been happening a lot during COVID. So we're hoping that in the near future we can get back to doing some of that fun stuff. So we are here if y'all have any questions for us, or
Could I add one thing I forgot?
and he forgot one more thing.
Well, for us, we're really happy about one thing that happened to us earlier in the week, and that was we had our accreditation renewed. We're one of probably only 135 ambulance services that have been accredited by the Commission on Accreditation of Ambulance Services. And we've been that way since 2000. So it's our 20th time we've gone through renewal. And so what does that mean? People ask me all the time what that means. Well, so we do two things for us as a part of two things for the community as part of this agreement. One of them is we have an annual financial audit that we then share with the city manager, and he can go through that. What CAS is an annual operational audit that you rarely kind of see ambulance services go through. They come in, they have a whole series of, I kind of describe it as joint commission accreditation for a hospital, but I don't want to insult the hospitals because theirs is so much more tougher because it's tied to reimbursement. But still, they come in, they audit all our operational policies, they go through our personnel files, they go through our payroll system, they go through our risk management, all our committees, all our QI, and review it. And I think it just shows our commitment to the community that we're willing to go through a voluntary inspection every year like that, or every 3 years. And so I don't know why I forget talking about it, and I should talk about it more. It's just we're so used to going through it now that I remember the first time we went through it, it was really, really rigorous, and now it's easy. It's gotten easier every time we've gone through it. So anyway, Weston's right. We're happy to take questions, except from Kelly Mitchell.
Any questions by the council?
He knows where to find me.
You mentioned in your report the different stations. Where are those stations? It looks like there's 5 that take care of our area.
Yeah, we have kind of evolved a bit in that we don't do 24-hour posts like Chief Slaughter does. We're more like the police department now. We're moving around. We're chasing people. When they're at work, we're in one part of town, and when they're at home, we're in another part of town. So we have a post that we're getting ready to move over to Summerhill, but we have going, I'll just use both cities because they're, for us, it's both cities because of that. So we have one over by Cooper Tire. Then we have one right there by the old St. Michael's that we normally have 1 or 2 units at all the time. We right now have one on State Line up at that shopping center where the Tractor Supply is, but I think we're probably going to move them over to Summerhill, over there where, right across from Texas High. And then we have one more west. It's kind of over off of 7th Street. But that's mainly the 4 that we're using. We always tend to have a unit right now at one of the 2 hospitals. So we also consider them post, Wadley and St. Michael's. And then, of course, our office over there on Kings Highway.
And maybe you might share for the benefit of the council and those here, the other communities that you all serve. I know you serve up in Arkansas and Oklahoma.
Well, here locally, of course, we have an agreement with Miller County and the Arkansas side, Texarkana, Arkansas. And we'll be there in 2 weeks doing this same report, with a little different spin on it. And then, of course, we have an agreement with the city as well as Bowie County. So we do all of Bowie County. We also provide animal service in Red River County and Cass County and Morris County. But the mayor's right. Several years ago in 2005, we were approached by the 2 hospitals there who had seen what was going on here, and they said, "Could you do that here?" And so we've been in Hot Springs since 2005. Shortly thereafter, was given the contract to do the Hot Springs Village and then Malvern. And really, what started here is really work in a lot of different, in other communities, because that's how we ended up in, of all places, which I shouldn't say it that way, Stillwater, Oklahoma. So we're in what's called Western Payne County, which is Stillwater, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State University, and we've been there since 2011, providing animal service. They looked at it. We actually answered an RFP for them. They liked the not-for-profit part of it, just like the other communities, and have been there. I've just renewed that contract for another 10 years. So, yeah, we went from, I'd say we're sneaky big. We started with maybe, when I first showed up, maybe 60, and now we're well over 400. And a lot of that comes out of here. Weston's right. We dispatch for Stillwater from here. We do all their billing from here, so that, as we got bigger, it got bigger here in Texarkana.
Any other questions by the council? Okay, well, Weston, David, we thank you all very much for being here.
Okay, thank you again for letting us come, and hopefully we can do it again next year. And we'll have better news.
Okay, all right. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. All right. I want to go back just for a minute to Ms. Adkins. Summerhill, which is State Highway 93, is considered a state highway, so it's maintained by TxDOT. But we'll contact them and have them go out there and take a look at that. Okay? Okay, all right. Okay, we'll now move along to appointments to boards and commissions. Do we have any appointments to be made this evening? Yes, ma'am.
Is 67 also state? Well, while you're asking about 93, would you mention 67? Because both of them have a bloom,
Okay,
and both of them cause my house to shake.
okay. We'll have them look at both of those, okay?
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, appointments to boards and commissions. Do we have any appointments or reappointments this evening? I do have 4 reappointments I need to make to the Housing Authority, and they are Melva Flowers, Louis George, Craig Manning, and Joanne Rice. And so once again, these are going to be reappointments to the Housing Authority Board. Those terms have expired. Their terms are now staggered on their board. Does anyone else have any? If not, is there a motion for approval? We have a motion by Councilmember Harp. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Those appointments have been made, and want to thank Ms. Flowers and Mr. George and Mr. Manning and Ms. Rice for their continued service on that board and continuing to serve our community. At this time, we belong to items for consideration. We do not have any items this evening on the consent agenda. The minutes from the council meeting that was held on January the 10th will be a part of your agenda for the February 14th meeting. So we'll look at those minutes at that particular time. We'll now move along to action items. We have one action item this evening that's scheduled for your consideration. It is item 1, ordinance number 2022-005, accepting a grant award of $30,000 from the Texas Recreation and Park Society and the National Fitness Campaign Grant Committee and amending the budget for the National Fitness Campaign Grant Fund, Fund number 244, to reflect additional revenue and expenditures of $30,000. And we have Mr. Ross Cowling from our Parks and Recreation Department to provide some additional information and also to answer any questions that you may have this evening relating to this item. Good evening, Ross. Glad to have you with us.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, Board. My name's Ross. I'm your sports manager for the city of Texarkana, Texas. Been doing that for a while and loving it. We're gearing up and getting ready for spring sports right now, today, and the days to come. We're hoping to reduce the sudden cardiac arrest stuff, and I'm not trying to make fun, but we have been awarded a grant from the National Fitness Campaign of $30,000, and so we have a short video that we want to show. This would be on the consent, but we wanted to inform you guys of what's going on, and it's also a part of the grant requirements is to inform you guys and get your approval. Can we play that video?
We're changing the way America thinks about fitness. With 200 fitness courts open, our campaign is growing. From college campuses to city parks and trails, we're bringing free fitness everywhere, and we're just getting started. Hi, I'm Mitch Menadget, founder of the National Fitness Campaign. National Fitness Campaign was founded in 1979 when we opened the first fitness court. Redesigned for the 21st century, the fitness court is the world's best outdoor gym. Our 7-movement, 7-minute system allows you to use your own body weight to get the perfect workout. Easy or hard, it will work for you. Our goal is to build healthy communities by making outdoor fitness an essential part of people's lives so that each day is better than the last. Now more than ever before, it is vital that we move fitness outdoors to remain safe, healthy, and strong.
Michiganders, as soon as we can, we go outside, which is one of the reasons why the fitness court was such an attraction to us. What impressed us most was their basic philosophy that they want to provide world-class fitness for free. Truly, anyone can use it, no matter what your age is, no matter what your physical fitness level is, no matter what your skills are. It is very adaptable.
Thousands of certified ambassadors will be trained to deliver classes, challenges, and clinics as part of our National Fitness Campaign. New programs are bringing students outdoors across America. The Fitness Court mobile app is your gateway to enroll in these programs. Simply scan the new digital wall with your phone to access a library of free workouts designed to optimize your experience on the fitness court. Learn the moves and take challenges as we dig deep to create impact for our partners across America. This year, we are thrilled to introduce Fitness Court Public Art. Cities have the opportunity to select a local artist to design their fitness court using the power of the arts and fitness outdoors in iconic public spaces. We're proud to have helped cities of all sizes raise millions of dollars from respected sponsors to support free fitness. Wherever fitness is a priority, you can find a fitness court. Building beyond 200 cities and colleges, we're partnering with large cities using urban movement data to map the best locations for healthy infrastructure. We're bringing fitness courts to within 10 minutes of population centers everywhere.
They provide these wraparound services that, from a city's perspective, that's what you want in a partner like this. You want it to come presented to you on a silver platter with a bow tied around it. They're one of the best partners, I think, that I personally have ever worked with.
We serve almost 1.2 million members across Michigan, and this partnership really is an opportunity for us to bring scalable, free health and wellness opportunities to our community. So I would actually invite cities and organizations, big and small, to explore the opportunity to invest in fitness courts. To be very honest with you, the feedback from different municipalities and different communities has been very positive.
We're committed to raise $150 million to bring the campaign to 1,000 cities and schools, building the largest fitness movement in the world. Join us. Let's make world-class fitness free.
Well, and as they've said, or as you've seen, they're very organized, very easy campaign to sell. They help us with our sponsorship campaign, going out to our hospitals and local health clubs to go after those sponsorships. But again, we wanted to bring this to your attention to amend the budget for that, and this project won't start until the 2020 or 2023 budget cycle. So we have some time to go out and work those sponsorships. Any questions?
Questions for Ross? Okay, well, thank you for the information.
Yes,
Appreciate
thank you all for your time. Appreciate it.
Looks like a good project. Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion for approval of the ordinance.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember, that was very fast. By Councilmember Davis, we have a motion for approval. Ms. Matlock, did you second? Ms. Hart seconded? Okay. Ms. Hart has seconded the motion. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending budgeted revenue and expenditures for the National Fitness Campaign Grant Fund, Fund 244, for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2022, adding the amount of $30,000 and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. We'll now move along to our first briefings. We do have a few, actually 3 first briefings scheduled for this evening. Item 1 is ordinance number 2022-008, granting a specific use permit to allow the location of a single-wide HUD code manufactured home on Lot 3, Block 17, Grandview Edition, located at 4007 Findlay Street. Franklin D. Coleman, owner. We'll have a public hearing on this item on February the 14th and council consideration at that same time. And that same schedule does pertain to the other items that we have scheduled this evening for first briefing. Michelle Daniel is going to brief us on this item. Good evening, Michelle.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this is a request for a specific use permit to allow the location of a single-wide HUD code manufactured home as a residence located at 4007 Findlay Street. The residence shown on the map was demolished and the property is currently vacant land. The adjacent zoning is single-family 2 to the north and single-family 3 to the south, east, and west. And the adjacent land use is vacant land to the north, south, and west, and a residence to the east. And the future land use map designates this property as neighborhood residential. Staff and Planning and Zoning do approve this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle? Okay, thank you, Michelle. Item number 2 is ordinance number 2022-009, approving an amendment to PD-20-5 GR General Retail for site plan approval on a 2.206 acre tract of land being tract 65A in the John A. Talbot Headright Survey A-564 located at 5609 Richmond Road. Don Robertson, owner. Michelle?
So this is a request for site plan approval located at 5609 Richmond Road, and the property was previously vacant land. The adjacent zoning is single-family 1 to the north, office to the west, planned development general retail to the south, and general retail to the east. The adjacent land use is vacant land to the north and west, office to the south, and retail and office to the east. This site plan was approved before, but the building location was moved, and so therefore we had to bring this back before the Planning and Zoning Commission and the council. So staff and Planning and Zoning does approve this site plan, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle on this item? Okay, thank you. Item number 3 is resolution number 2022-010, authorizing a written services agreement for provisions of city services to Deaton Place subdivision in the event by the city council adopts an ordinance annexing the tract. Michelle?
Yes, good evening again, Mayor and Council. Due to changes in the Texas Local Government Code, when a property owner wants to voluntarily annex their property, now they have to come and negotiate a written service agreement with the city before annexation can occur. And this agreement includes which services will be offered to the annexed land upon the date of annexation, and a schedule of services to be offered in the future to this annexed land. The city can provide all services to this area at minimal cost, so therefore the staff does recommend approval of this service agreement. And after the agreement is in place, then we will bring forward an ordinance to annex the Deaton Place subdivision. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Michelle?
Are these
Davis?
items all in what we've done in the past as far as when we've annexed property outside?
Yes, sir, I do believe. It's just a different order.
Other questions? Okay, thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
This time move along to our public hearings. We do have 4 public hearings scheduled this evening. Item 1 is ordinance number 2022-001, amending PD-21-20 for site plan approval, an approximate .96 acre tract of land, being 336A and 336C in the George Brindley Headright Survey A-18, located at 5302 North Kings Highway, from Single Family 1 to Plan Development Office. Shane Satterfield, owner. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on this item, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I will declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Harp. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Davis. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending PD-21-10 for site plan approval on an approximate 0.96 acre tract of land, being tract 336A, 336C, George Brindley, HRS A-18, located at 5302 North Kings Highway in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes. Item 2 is resolution number 2022-002, recognizing Newtown Neighborhood Association as an official neighborhood association. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on this item, please come forward and state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name's Steve Matlock.
Good evening, Mr. Matlock.
I am looking forward to having this association be a part of economic redevelopment, neighborhood revitalization, and a part of the community that could bring value to Texarkana. So we're looking forward to getting this thing approved, and hopefully in the future you'll see good things coming out of this neighborhood that'll benefit not only downtown Texarkana, but the overall Texarkana area in its entirety.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Matlock. Appreciate your comments, sir. Public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Page and a second by Councilmember Williams. This item pertains to a resolution, so there is not a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, motion passes unanimously. All right, Mr. Matlock, good luck to you and your group, sir. Thank you. All right. At this time, move along to item number 3, ordinance number 2022-003, of public convenience and necessity, approving the assignment and transfer of a public utility franchise to Summit Utilities Arkansas Incorporated, assignee of CenterPoint Energy Resources Corporation, for the continued provision of and to maintain and operate a natural gas utility business system in the city. City charter requires this ordinance to be read at 3 regular meetings of the City Council. We had the first reading of this ordinance at our meeting on January the 10th. Tonight will be the second public hearing and second reading of the ordinance, and then this is scheduled for a third and final reading and council consideration at our next meeting on February the 14th. So at this time, I'll declare the public hearing. Before we do that, Mr. Lewis, do you have anything to add or any comments?
Mayor and council, to follow up from our last meeting, at each place, you will have an envelope which includes some documentation that will update the information that's contained in the council packet. The first sheet was a spreadsheet similar to the one the council had in 2017. It's the multicolored two-page sheet that Summit provided for perhaps an easier to digest recitation of multi-page tariff that the council will be considering in a separate ordinance. The second document was one that was required by the franchise ordinance itself. It's an assignment document that has been executed between CenterPoint and Summit, and our franchise agreement is listed on the last page of that document, along with the cities of Redwater and Nash and Wake Village, which documents Summit agreeing to CenterPoint that CenterPoint was assigning, and Summit was the assignee of pending council approval of our franchise agreement. I've also provided an email exchange between the Summit team and myself and Dr. Orr, and some additional information that may be pertinent as we reach the discussion with respect to the tariff.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis is our city attorney. So at this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on this item, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Kenny Henderson. I'm Director of Government Affairs for Summit Utilities. We're here with me, Mr. Greg Strickland. He's our District Director here in the Texarkana area and runs our operations here. First, I'd just like to say on behalf of Summit Utilities that we're very happy to be a part of the Texarkana community and look forward to working with the city and everything that we do going forward. And we're here to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions by the council, Mr. Hart?
I have one. Mr. Henderson, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Henderson, I've looked through all of the documents and stuff for the past couple of weeks, and with Mr. Lewis's help, have a semi-understanding. I'm not an attorney. I'm a retired educator, so that's a very complicated system and contract that y'all are working through. But what I have looked at, and with the cancellation of a couple of the riders and tariffs, and with the application of the Arkansas Consumer Credit, will Texas side residential and commercial customers see a higher monthly customer charge in their bills coming up?
They will not. They're going to see essentially the same rates that they're seeing today. What we're proposing is to keep the rates in Texarkana, Texas the same.
Will that be higher than the Arkansas side? Because we currently pay about the same.
It will be very close. It will be very close. I think we had provided some analysis that may be in your packet. I don't know, that was indicated that for an average residential customer using, I think, 58 CCF of gas, there was about a 20-cent difference per month in the bill at this point. But in Arkansas, there's some difference here because in Arkansas, we're going to have a new, what we call our SSER rider, which is a rider that will allow us to more timely collect our investment on replacement of obsolete main. And so as that builds up each month, that's probably going to change somewhat. And there's always some differences just because of allocation. So it's going to be very close, but it's never exact.
Right. Is there an avenue in working through these documents and everything to kind of bring that 20% total difference a little closer together?
Well, I'm not sure that if there is now or not. Our intent has been that we will be filing a rate case again in Arkansas in early 2023. We have to file a rate case in 2023. And so our intent had been that when we file that rate case, whatever rates come out of that, consistent with what we've done in the past, we would likely come and seek the council's approval to put those rates into place. And at that point, we would be back to being on almost identical rates.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Henderson, so in the acquisition, what I understand of what I've researched and read, so the current CenterPoint Energy employees who are here in Texarkana would then become employees, for the most part, of Summit, correct?
That is absolutely correct. And by the way, just for your information, I'm a former CenterPoint employee. I've been with CenterPoint for 26 years. Greg is a CenterPoint, former CenterPoint employee as well, and been with the company almost that long, maybe longer than that, 34 years. Summit has taken on virtually all of the CenterPoint employees. Anyone that hasn't come, it's been their choice, I think. And frankly, they need us because they don't have people here to operate the system. So there's not, all of the CenterPoint employees have essentially come over to Summit now, and it's the same people by and large who are providing service here now that have been all along.
So will you also be acquiring, for example, the former CenterPoint Energy's vehicles and equipment, or you?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
So that will become your property as
Yes,
well?
yes, sir.
So basically, you'll
Basically, all the operation, all the equipment, all the pipes, everything is becoming part of Summit. All that's going to be rebranded. It's on a pretty fast track to be rebranded. Greg, do you even remember? February 3rd. A lot of that's going to be rebranded. You'll start seeing the Summit trucks rolling, but it's all the same stuff. Right. Thanks.
All right, does anyone else on the council have a question for Henderson or Strickland? Okay. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor, is your microphone on? I was asked if your microphone, okay.
I may have accidentally turned it off. Okay.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Say it,
Can you hear me? Okay, he said he's okay back there in the back.
thank
so-
you.
Okay, thank you. Any public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council, please come forward.
And Mayor, while the public hearing is still open.
Yes, sir.
For Mr. Henderson referenced an average bill comparison, and that document was provided at our request by Summit, and that document has been included in the materials. And gentlemen, I will apologize, since we had a conference call with Mr. Henderson and the associate, get the title right, Associate General Counsel, Stephanie Hammonds, along with Dr. Orr on Friday. I just saw Ms. Hammond's face, and we weren't able to see faces, or I would have introduced myself to you gentlemen. Sorry about that. Yeah, I know, I was wearing a mask, right? But we did have some conversations with regard to both the franchise agreement and the tariff, and the last portion of the documentation that you have in the packet that was provided was the document that had been filed with the Arkansas Public Utilities Commission with respect to the Arkansas customer credit that Mr. Harp asked about. So that information was also included for your, it is buried in a much lengthier document that Ms. Evans would have words with me if I included that in our council packet, but it was part of the referenced hyperlink material that was put into the agenda packet if you wanted to just cure your insomnia and go to the website and read through the Public Utility Commission materials for both Arkansas and Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I wanted to make sure you were aware of what else was in your packet.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Lewis. Public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council on this particular item, please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Mr. Lewis, I've got a question as far as point of order. When we began our council meeting this evening, we did have a full council with all 6 council members. Councilmember Page had to leave to attend to a work-related matter. And do I vote now or not in reference to not having a full council at this time?
Well, now that you have an absence, you do vote.
Okay,
And
all
the
right.
quorum was already established, so that's not an issue.
Okay.
You would have a quorum anyway, even with the absence. But
Right.
yes, Mayor, you do vote. And as before in the last meeting, all you're doing tonight is voting on approving the second reading of the ordinance. You're not approving for final action and adoption, the franchise ordinance.
That's correct. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. We will have one more reading and then final vote at our next meeting on the 14th. So this time I entertain a motion in a second to vote for approval of the second reading tonight, January 24th, 2022, on Ordinance 2022-003.
Second.
All right. So who made the motion? Ms. Matlock made the motion. Ms. Hart has seconded the motion. All right, Ms. Evans, do you have a caption? Okay.
An ordinance of public convenience and necessity of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, approving the assignment and transfer of a public utility franchise to Summit Utilities Arkansas Incorporated, assignee of CenterPoint Energy Resources Corp., DBA CenterPoint Energy Arkansas Gas, for the continued provision of and to maintain and operate a natural gas utility business system in the City of Texarkana, Texas, providing for publication, providing for a repealer clause and a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. All right, the ordinance is approved for the second reading unanimously. Once again, we'll have a third and final reading at our next meeting on the 14th of February. Gentlemen, thank you for being here this evening. We appreciate your time. At this time, move along to item number 4, ordinance number 2022-004, amending ordinance number 2017-083, substituting Summit Utilities Arkansas Incorporated as the natural gas provider for franchise holder for the city, reauthorizing identical residential and commercial rate schedules previously authorized with exceptions, and ordering the rates to be charged by Summit for natural gas and natural gas service to the city's residential and commercial customers. Once again, public hearing this evening and third and final reading and vote on February the 14th. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this ordinance. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward.
Mayor, if I can update the council as part of the public hearing.
Sure.
As was announced at the last council meeting, we had received word that the transaction between Summit and CenterPoint had closed. So the council's ordinance has been updated. If the council approves the franchise ordinance, then this ordinance becomes ripe for council consideration. And the form ordinance in the packet now has been updated to show an effective date, retroactive to the date of closing, which is January 10, 2022. And that particular change was made by me to the form. I did have the input of the general counsel I was working with at the time, Mr. Hagler, whose name you may see in some of the emails that I provided to you, and he was good with that change as well.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Henderson, if you will, just for the record, please restate your name because we're on a different item, and we appreciate your comments, sir.
Kenny Henderson with Summit Utilities, and I have with me here tonight Mr. Greg Strickland with Summit Utilities. Thank you.
All right. Any questions on this item? Mr. Hart?
I do have one question, and I guess it's for both sides. I know there's some paperwork and legal issues that have to be worked through on this with the franchise and different things that go into these contracts. Is there a possibility that this could be done within a timely fashion that would allow the council the opportunity to kind of digest the material instead of maybe getting it on a Saturday or Friday evening? We get it a little bit earlier in the week leading up to the next council meeting. That's what I'm asking.
We're certainly amenable to working with the city. Honestly, I'm not sure what the exact situation that is.
Addressing the franchise itself, what Summit is proposing and what has been proposed to the council is basically that Summit steps into the shoes of the former holder, which they have now put on record they're agreeing to do, and make no changes to the franchise document, at least not at this time. Subject, of course, to council direction. We'll have 3 weeks between this meeting and the next meeting to address whatever considerations the council may want to think through, since that is a 1984 document. It has not been updated. There is an opportunity to do so if the council so chooses. There is also the option of approving the ordinance as presented and then Summit agrees to abide by the 1984 wording of the franchise agreement with that original gas company that's long since been absorbed or defunct. Thereafter, apart from the tariff structure, the documentation has been presented for council approval. Summit will have to come back after that ordinance, assuming the council approves it, is approved, and take care of some regulatory action with the Railroad Commission that the city is not necessarily going to be a part of. Summit also has other cities it has to deal with in this region, since I have made it quite clear, and we've put it in the ordinances, that we're just Texarkana, Texas, and we're not handling things for the other cities. So as far as the documentation goes, it has primarily been prepared and is ready.
Okay.
The tariffs and the franchise are intertwined to the extent of the provision in the franchise agreement with respect to how both cities are to be treated with respect to charges to customers. And that's why they are being presented at the same time as well. So questions pertaining to the franchise could very well pertain to the tariff and vice versa.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the council? All right, Mr. Henderson, thank you very much, sir. Public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council, please come forward. Not seeing anyone else coming forward at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. And we'll now move along to items for discussion. Our city manager's report by our city manager, Dr. David Orr. Dr. Orr.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a few updates to pass along to you tonight. First off, just a water rights permit update. So staff continues to work with Riverbend. We meet weekly with the U.S. Corps of Engineers and to work on the water rights application, also to implement the ultimate rule curve at the lake. And so we have a scheduled meeting next week with Caddo Nation, the mayor and I do. This is part of the Section 106 Environmental and Cultural Review process. Also wanted to mention Dr. Riley Harville was here virtually last week. He participated with our leadership team on a DISC personality assessments. It's something we plan to use with our police and fire and all of our departments throughout the city. So we'll continue to implement that program. Also, I saw that Doug Sims was in the audience today. Doug sent some information about the Sustainability Forum that Waste Management is hosting virtually February the 9th. And so I've sent information to you. If you're interested in that, please let us know. Also, just wanted to mention our December report for Waste Management continues to show an upward trend in recycling. So we're up to 98 tons collected in December. And the final update is we have a strategic doing practitioners training next week that Councilmember Bill Harp and I will attend as part of Leadership Texarkana on the College of Texarkana, or on the campus of Texarkana College. This is a training framework that we plan to implement throughout the city as well. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions you have on the update.
Any questions for Dr. Orr? Okay, thank you very much. Very good report. This time we'll have a COVID-19 update by our Fire Chief, Eric Slaughter. Chief Slaughter was scheduled to provide this update at our last meeting and had to respond to a call. We had every fire truck in the city on a particular fire call over on New Boston Road, so he had to step away to attend to that. We're glad to have you back this evening, Chief, to provide us an update.
Glad to be here. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I'm sure it's no surprise to anyone that COVID's on the rise again. Everybody knows that. We noticed cases beginning to rise in early December. It was a slow trend. That dramatically increased in the end of December and into the start of January, with cases with positivity rates getting as high as 65% at certain facilities. So of all the people they would test in a given day, 65% of those would be positive. Hospitalizations, there's a lag, so once you start to have an increase in positivity, it takes a little bit for people to get good and sick, and then the hospitalizations start to rise. We've now seen that with a doubling rate of about a week for the last couple of weeks. So each week the total number of hospitalizations would double in that 7-day window. So in our previous peaks, our highest day of hospitalizations was in the 140 to 150 range for both hospitals. Yesterday, we were nearing 130. So we're almost back to the same level we were at our highest ever in the city. Both hospitals are certainly feeling the stress. They both have additional resources that have been allocated to them from the state, i.e. contract nurses, to help supplement their already tired and weary staff. So we're all praying for both of those facilities. They do great work in our region, and we have to have them, and they can't possibly fail. And they're both working very, very hard. On a good note, ER visits, so that back on the first side of it, those have started to trend down over the past couple of days. Not enough to really, wave the flag or anything, but it's a good first sign. So fewer people are going to the ER every 24 hours, and the ratio of those people that go to the ER that they suspect have COVID is dropping as well. So that would be that positivity rate on the given days. And that's starting to go in the right direction, which is always a good sign. And in our previous waves, that is the first indicator that things are starting to go the right direction. The Infusion Center, we received good information that the Infusion Center has been extended for another month. We got that notification late last week. The only drawback is that center is limited both in daily capacity and then also in the number of infusions they receive. So their daily capacity is 25. That's the most infusions they can do with their staffing in their 12-hour day that they work. The infusions they receive come from the federal government, so the federal government allocates to the state. The state takes their state allocation and divides that up amongst the facilities that are providing infusions. Here locally, all of the medical facilities that receive allocations send those over to the Infusion Center, so our Infusion Center does all of the infusing in our area. And we have been getting some doses, enough to keep it operational. Our most recent allocation was around 100 doses, so about 4 days worth. But every couple of days we get another infusion, another allocation of infusions. So hopefully that picks up. The site is continuing to maintain their average of 20 to 25 infusions a day. We think they're providing an incredible service to the city and helping the people with the highest potential of getting really sick, preventing that from happening. There were some comments on social media, and I guess there were some issues last week where there were some questions about what it takes to get an infusion. And so the Infusion Center does triage referrals. So because they're limited on the number of infusions that they're getting, they have to triage the number of the referrals that come in. So they're trying to get the infusions in the people that have the highest likelihood of getting seriously ill. So they look at BMI, your body mass index, and so that's got to be greater than 30. They look for additional comorbidities, so other illnesses that would make you more likely to serious illness, hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, compromised respiratory system, things like that. So they have to do that. When it first opened and we had plenty of supply, anybody that had a positive result was welcome to come in. They would get the infusion, and that's how the system would work. But when the supply side started to wane, then they had to put those rules in. So they are just solely to make sure that the best candidates get the infusion, the ones that are most likely to get seriously ill. But if you have questions about that, or if there are problems at the site, you can feel free to give us a call, and we'll try to work through it with anybody that has an issue. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Ms. Matlock?
Yes, do they keep a record of how many children are in the hospital for COVID?
We can see those numbers on a dashboard that we see, and I can look at those. I don't have them, I can't recall just right off the top of my head, but I can take a look at it and get that information to you.
All right.
and there's always a day lag, so we get the information the next day after it's occurred.
Any other questions? I just would like to share with everyone here in the audience and those joining us online that we do, our Emergency Operations Center is in operations. It's active. It has been active for quite some time. And representing the city, we have our chief, Eric Slaughter, who serves as the director over that, Lisa Thompson, also Tracy Litton, and then Dr. Matt Young serves as our Bowie County Health Authority. And I just want to echo the great job that they're doing in conjunction with Bowie County. We have also on the team our Bowie County Judge, Bobby Howell, as well as Lance Hall with Bowie County. We do have weekly conference calls on Wednesday mornings to get updates on what's going on. Our local hospitals join us on those calls to provide timely information as well. And we're also in contact with the state departments as well that are a part of this. And so I just want to, and I'm on those calls along with the group, but I want to just thank Eric and Lisa and Tracy and Dr. Young for the great work that you've done and you're doing in reference to this very, very important task that we're dealing with. And we don't know, what's in the future. If there will be another variant or things will kind of wind down, we don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, but I just want everyone to know that this group is working hard. We're looking out for our citizens and looking out for the community as well as the citizens within the county. And just appreciate the great work that you all are doing.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Okay, all right. Anything else for Eric? Okay, all right. Thank you very much. All right, at this time we'll move along to administrative comments. Do we have any comments this evening from the council? Mr. Hart?
I have one. I wanted to make a few comments about the Winco grocery store possibly entering the Texarkana market. And I do understand that not all sides agree on the issue or use of incentives. However, with this investment, there are some positives that the council considered. One, we're looking at an estimated 90 new jobs added to the local and city market with the estimated payroll of about $2 million annually to our local economy. We are looking at the renovation of a building and complex that has been empty for several years now. And project plans include demolishing an aging structure and building a new 84,000 square foot facility that will use local contractors and building supply businesses, totaling a possible $21 million investment. This development would increase property tax values and could hopefully provide a catalyst for future redevelopment of other properties nearby in the mall area. And this would hopefully increase foot shopping traffic to one of our largest retail developments within our city. Providing a grocery store option in a food desert as designated by the USDA Food Access Atlas on the south side of I-30, and this grocery store could be a benefit to all Texarkana citizens. Texarkana USA's Chamber of Commerce and the Artex Ready Group listed additional grocery options as one of the top priorities in recruiting new businesses and retaining professionals in our region. And based upon some figures I've received, property tax revenue would increase a minimum of $100,000 per year for the new grocery store, and annual sales tax revenue could exceed $40,000 per year, which means this investment would pay for itself in about 2.5 years. In my opinion, our economic development staff and city administration has been very frugal with taxpayer money by staying within our budget and being precise with the financial incentives used in this matter. Hopefully the council and I know the city administration and myself look forward to Winco entering and becoming a part of the cities of Texarkana, USA.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Hart. All right. And any other comments from the council? I did leave out one group in reference to our EOC that's a part of that on a daily basis in our weekly calls, and that's LifeNet. They also participate, so they provide us information on how their volume of work is going along in our community. So I want to thank Mr. Baumgardner and the staff at LifeNet for being a part of this group and also for taking care of our citizens with health and emergency needs. They do a very, very good job in our community. Any other comments from the council this evening under this item? Okay. David, anything else you'd like to share?
I have no other comments. I just want to thank Councilmember Hart for those comments on the Winco deal.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Is there any other business to be brought before the council this evening? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. We have a motion by Councilmember Hart and a second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all for being here and have a great evening.